Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumera Kamal. First, the headlines. Pakistan and Afghanistan have reaffirmed commitment not to violate each other's ground and airspace. The United States has welcomed Pakistan's steps against outlawed groups as positive. Pakistani and Chinese investors will be given significant incentives in special economic zones under CPAC policy package. All-Party Hurriyat Conference has reaffirmed resolve to continue struggle for their inalienable right to self-determination. Saudi Arabia has strongly condemned the atrocious chemical attack on Douma town in Syria, killing scores of civilians. And now the news in detail. Islamabad and Kabul have agreed to operationalize the working groups under Afghanistan-Pakistan Action Plan for Peace and Solidarity. According to a Foreign Office statement, the understanding was reached during a recent visit of Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi to Kabul. Pakistan assured its continued support to an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace and reconciliation. Both the countries also committed not to allow use of their respective territory by any country, network, group, or individuals for anti-state activities against the other country. U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for South Asia Alice Wells has said the United States welcomes Pakistan Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa's statement against non-state actors. In an interview to an Indian daily, she described Pakistan's steps against outlawed groups as positive. Alice Wells said the United States is good faith conversation with Pakistan. She added that United States is not walking away from Pakistan. She said the United States intends to remain permanently engaged with Pakistan. The ambassador of the United States in Pakistan, David Hale, was called to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Islamabad today, and a strong protest was lodged with him on the tragic death of a motorcyclist and serious injury to the co-rider in the traffic accident yesterday that involved a U.S. diplomat. According to Foreign Office, the U.S. ambassador expressed his deep sympathy and sorrow over the loss of life and assured that the embassy would fully cooperate in the investigation. The Foreign Secretary said that justice will take its course in accordance with the law of the land and the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961. Pakistani and Chinese investors preparing to set up industry in special economic zones will get significant incentives, including exemption from duties and taxes and concessional loans. According to an official document of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the Pakistan government has provided a policy package to attract potential investors, including Chinese enterprises. The incentive package includes a one-time exemption from all custom duties and taxes on plant and machinery imported into Pakistan for installation in special economic zones. Pakistan will provide gas, electricity, water, and other supporting facilities and working shelters in the industrial parks set up under China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project. Ministry for Housing will construct around 500,000 housing units for the low-income families throughout the country under Apna Ghar scheme. An official of the ministry told APP that presently there is a shortfall of approximately 9 to 10 million houses in the country, and the government is making concerted efforts to bridge the gap. He said under the scheme, the government will provide houses to shelterless families by constructing low-cost units on state land in different localities. The official said in order to ensure cost-effective access to credit for housing, the government will also provide subsidy. Radio Pakistan is introducing a 2-minute mid-hour news summary in addition to the top-of-the-hour regular news bulletins from tomorrow to update its listeners about the latest happenings on national and international scene. The mid-hour news summary will be aired from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, 7 days a week. This would be another milestone in the history of Radio Pakistan. Earlier, new format of 1 hour Khabarnama was also introduced at 8 p.m. The new Khabarnama is also being live streamed on Radio Pakistan's official Facebook page with headlines on its official Twitter account. It has been highly appreciated by the listeners. This is Radio Pakistan. In occupied Kashmir, all parties Hurriyat Conference say people of Kashmir are determined to continue their liberation struggle and will never surrender their inalienable right to self-determination. Senior All Parties Hurriyat Conference leader and chairman of Tehreek-e-Hurriyat, Muhammad Ashraf Sehrai, in a statement in Srinagar today said that India is responsible for bloodshed in Jammu and Kashmir. He said sacrifices of Kashmiri martyrs would not be allowed to go waste. He paid glowing tributes to Musawwir Hussain Wani, who was martyred by Indian troops the other day. Dukhtaran-e-Millat chairperson Asiya Andarabi in a statement paid tributes to the martyred youth and said India has started a war on innocent people in Kashmir. Meanwhile, complete shutdown continued in Pulwama and Shopian districts for yet another day today against the spat of the killings of youth by the Indian troops. Shopian remained shut for the 8th straight day today. Saudi Arabia has strongly condemned the atrocious chemical attack on Doma town of eastern Ghouta, killing scores of civilians, including children and women. Saudi Ministry of Foreign Affairs reaffirmed the necessity of stopping these tragedies and pursuing a political solution based on principles of Geneva Declaration and UN Security Council resolution. Meanwhile, Syrian government has demanded Army of Islam rebels to release prisoners and stop their shellings of Damascus as a precondition to restarting talks. State media says government forces have also granted a 2-hour ceasefire to allow rebels to comply. The Army of Islam was negotiating with Russia to evacuate its fighters from Doma and allow the government to restore its authority over the town amid a crippling government siege. In Egypt, 4 militants have been killed in an ongoing campaign against the extremists based in Sinai Peninsula. Egyptian military in a statement today said at least 250 wanted and suspected criminals have also been arrested during the operation. In Saudi Arabia, a terrorist plan has been foiled by its security forces during an operation against suspected militants in Qatif province. Weapons and explosives have also been recovered from them. An official statement said 1 soldier was martyred during the operation. Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has arrived in Paris at the start of his European tour. Saudi-owned Al Arabia TV said Prince Mohammed, Saudi Defense Minister and one of the kingdom's most powerful policymakers, is due to meet President Emmanuel Macron on Tuesday. A Palestinian journalist has been shot dead by Israeli forces when he was covering a mass demonstration along the Gaza border. Palestinian journalists syndicate termed it deliberate crimes committed by the Israeli troops. Meanwhile, the European Union has raised questions about Israeli troops' use of force in the latest border clashes with Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In a statement, the European External Action Service stressed that Israeli live fire killed at least 9 Palestinians and hurt hundreds more. In Hungary, polling is being held for the general elections today to elect a 199-seat parliament. Polls predicted the triumph of current Prime Minister Viktor Orban's Fidesz's party and its allied Christian Democratic Party's party. Orban came to power in 2010 and is seeking a 3rd consecutive term. In Commonwealth Games 2018 at Gold Coast in Australia, hockey match between Pakistan and England ended in 2-2 draw. Earlier, the 2 matches played by Pakistan against Wales and India had also produced no result. And finally, the weather. Rain, thunder showers with gusty winds, dust storm are expected at scattered places in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Fatah, Upper Punjab, Islamabad, Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, while at isolated places in central southern Punjab, Job, Kalat, Quetta, Sakhar and Larkana divisions during the next 12 hours. Dust storm, hailstorm is also expected in plain areas of Punjab, KP and Upper Sindh during the period. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio Pakistan News Official.